You may recall from an earlier video that one of the first things Blake and I did was to plant apple trees around our property. So we have all of these cages are apple and pear trees that we planted. What we didn't know, and I might have already mentioned, is that there are some mature apple trees on the property as well. When we came to visit the property last year, when we actually purchased it, we saw what looked like apple trees, but there weren't any apples on them. And I guess what happened was there was some warm days early on last spring, which caused an early bloom, and then there was a hard frost, and it basically just killed off all the blooms, and there was very few apple trees, or very few apples on the trees, if any. So it was, a blessing that we didn't realize, but we have quite a few mature apple trees. I'm going to go on, it's just about lunchtime now, so for a part of my lunch today, I'm going to walk the perimeter of our property and just sample the apples from each tree and film them as I go. I've been eating apples basically since I arrived when they were really small and sour. They're getting to be fairly sizable now as we approach September. Alright, I'm in the very lowest corner of our meadow. You can see the barn in the distance there behind me. And this is, the property line is right there, that pink flag. And so this is the apple tree right on the corner, just on our property. And this one we knew about last year as well. It's really sparse. You can see in the upper corner there's some apples. There's not really much at all at ground level. Gonna walk around and see some very small ones. So that looks like about all we're gonna get. And you can recognize the different types, different species as we go. Feel free to comment. I'm mainly gonna just look at how many apples are on the tree, how big they are, and what color they are, and then how they taste. So this is just a little guy, might be a crab apple, but let's give her a taste. Well, it's pretty sour, but yeah, it tastes good. It seems like tastes more like a cider apple. I mean, you're not going to get much cider, but maybe this tree can be good for cider. It's pretty bitter. Who knows? All right, I'm gonna walk around the perimeter, basically counterclockwise. All right, tree number 2 is much more obvious that it's an apple tree. This is the tree closest to our camp. So once again, there's the barn for perspective, and our campfire circle is really just over this hill here. So this has been the closest one to camp. Actually, I've been eating apples from this for a little while, but Blake only just discovered that it was here last week. So the apples are really changing color now. It's much more obvious. They're still pretty small. They're much more red, but these are definitely a lot smaller than the apples by the road. It doesn't get as much sun down here. But that's a pretty nice looking apple, I'd say. Obviously very small. Let's give that a taste. Yeah, that's good. That's really sweet. Once again, I don't know. Fortunately, I don't know my varietals very well. But that's a good apple. Alright, thumbs up to this tree. This, once again, doesn't have a ton of apples on it. Here's some really nice sized ones, actually. So these are a little darker red. That's a good apple right there. So a bit darker. Let's see how it tastes. Okay, much more sour than the last one. I like sour apples, so that's fine. It tastes like a good, healthy apple. I don't think there's an issue, but yeah, it's tart. If you don't like sour apples, then this is not the tree for you. All right, well, that side doesn't have anything, and then this branch, it's got quite a few apples. Look at the size of that. It's bigger than I need. Oh, just dropped one. All right, Plenty of apples on the ground too. So these are a nice yellow, just a touch of red. Yeah, actually that whole branch has some, so it looks like there's just a lack of productivity on the north side. Much softer. Quite a bit softer than the previous apples. I might have grabbed one that had been on the ground for a little while, but yeah, that's good. That's a totally different flavor than the last apple. It's much sweeter, more mellow. Yeah, I mean, it's a yellow apple. So this has been my favorite apple tree. Set back just a bit from the road. Our barn is just there, so if we have our driveway coming here, I'd like to see it loop just after this apple tree and then head in towards the front of the barn. It's just has a really nice shape to it. It's got some very big red apples on this side. Alright, so we're not talking about baby fruit anymore. I mean, that's small for a supermarket apple, but that's getting to be really a good size. It's got a beautiful shape to it, nice color. So this is a great tree, and it's got apples like that all over the place. We're gonna have to get a ladder, of course, but got quite a bit of picking, quite a bit of cidering to do. Much crisper. Really crisp compared to that last one, which was quite soft. So that's the tree I'm really excited about. And then right next to it we have its scraggly cousin. This one sits right on the road. It has a lot of dead branches on it. You could definitely use pruning. I mean, look at that dead growth. But I think this is exactly the same kind as that last one. Got a nice green, red, getting full on all these apples. Well, it's really crisp. The flavor's a bit different than the last, but yeah, it's a good apple. I guess I'm not, I just got hit in the head with an apple. I shouldn't be a food reviewer. I never say anything is bad. But hey, apple's an apple. Here's the next scraggly one. This is right next to our gravel pile. I think these are a greener apple. Yeah, I don't see any red on them. Yeah, so let's grab one here. Oh, that's something different entirely. Much smaller, all green and yellow. Give it a taste. I was expecting it to be really sour. It's not. Pretty much no flavor. Alright, take back what I said. I can find a tree that I don't like so much, and I think it's this one. Yeah. It's bitter. I think maybe it just needs more time, but a little bit bitter. That's about the only flavor I'm getting off of that one. Alright, moving on. Two more trees, just barely on the property edge. These ones are, so the trunk there, the one in the middle is it's not an apple tree, and then this one here. So nice, really, really big apples on it. Once again, these are just a green or a yellow. I don't see any red. Let's reach in there and get one. So, I mean, it has some blemishes, but that's, once again, that's really sizable. Yeah, good looking apple. Well, the flavor's not there. Not on that one. Ugh, not much taste, and what there is isn't very good. Let's give this guy one more go. Just in case that was the proverbial bad apple. Not gonna let it spoil the whole bunch. Second try. Yep, that tree's not very good. Not much else to say. Very, very little flavor. It's almost inedible what flavor it does have. Let's just for kicks sneak down the hill and see if this one's any different. Looks like we might be in for more of the same. Lots of small, green. Alright, give one a go. This looks more like the tree that was just above the gravel pile there. Oh. Now see, I was caught by surprise. I was expecting something flavorless, and that is really bright, really sour. Just kind of a bold, strong flavor. Probably the most flavorful one yet. I mean, it might be because it's small. It might not be as ripe as some of the others. But wow, a lot of apples on it. So overall, I'm really, really happy. When we were looking at properties, we saw some that had apple trees on it. There's one that had this beautiful little grove and didn't really offer everything else we were looking for in a property, but we thought, someday we'd like to have that. We purchased this place because of the mix of meadow and forest. It has a great stream on it, and it was the right price for the acreage. And then, unbeknownst to us, actually has many mature apple trees on it. And yeah, they're all quite good, so I'd skip the one by the gravel pile and skip the one on the north side of these two here. But otherwise, we have a really nice mix of sweet and sour, of subtle and bold flavors. So you couldn't ask for much more. Yeah, if you like this video, click the like button below. Please leave comments, anything that you know about apples, about making apple cider, and stay tuned. There's a lot more content to come. We'll see you next time. Hey, it's Saturday, August 24th, and that's my last day here.